What's wrong with these folks? These folks out here going by pronouns. They call themselves robots. Girls call themselves boys. Boys call themselves girls. Men call themselves women. Women call themselves men. Why can't we just be what we supposed to be? But y'all out here calling yourselves robots. I seen a video the other day, and the guy was like, I do not define myself as a human.
What it is,
I am outside.
what is a message
He was just talking crazy. He
that's
identified as a robot.
new?
Artificial
And then he was,
intelligence.
like acting like he was a robot. So
That's
that's why I did that. But y'all don't hold it to me. Make sure y'all like, share, and subscribe. And watch this video where these two parents sent their child to school, and in the midst of the, child going to school and stuff like that, the child did this.
Dan and Jennifer, appreciate you joining me today. Now, you are involved in a lawsuit against the Rockford Public Schools out in Michigan over pronoun usage surrounding your daughter. Dan, can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Yeah, while we were working with this school closely to address her academic needs in regards to her autism, it came to our attention that the school was actively deceiving and hiding us and hiding from us the fact that they were transitioning our daughter from being a girl to a boy, using a boy's name and pronouns. And this came to our attention by paperwork that they had given me, and one of the school employees had inadvertently forgotten to change one of those male names and pronouns.
Jennifer, when you discovered this, and again, you discovered it by accident, it sounds like, what was going through your mind?
At first, I was like, they must have somebody else's child's information in here. This was clearly an error, is my first thought.
Right, because that's crazy.
And so
I don't understand that.
we ended up emailing this specific staff member, asking them if this was an error. And then when we didn't receive a response back from them, which I thought was interesting, we started to kind of dig a little bit more and say, well, why would they not respond to an email over important information like this? So once we found out what was really happening, clearly I was just in shock, disbelief.
Wow.
And Dan, I imagine at that point, once you found out, you started to dialogue with the school, ask them perhaps not to do what they were doing. What were those conversations like? What happened next?
Well, actually, kind of roll that back as we were trying to decide what our next step would be, because we started putting some things together. We're going, I think might be what's going on. How do we want to handle this with the school? Later that same week, Jennifer found in our daughter's backpack a book that had been given to her by the school counselor from the school counselor's personal library that our daughter was kind of hiding from us. And that book contained a story about a homosexual boy and a confused boy, and the homosexual boy trying to kind of coerce the boy into a relationship with him, very explicit.
I'm trying to figure out what is the point of having these explicit books in the school of these little children. Like, y'all want kids to be free thinkers and all this stuff, but y'all like corrupting these kids. There's even this place that they call now, it's called the Satanic Temple, where they say they're not promoting Satan's, and Satan is a good person and all this different stuff. It's crazy. So I'm trying to figure out, when did Satan become good? But it's kind of off subject. But I'm just trying to figure out why they putting these explicit things into the mind of the children. But if you go watch the video that I'll probably tag in this video, they're depopulating the earth. They're depopulating the world, and persecuting the people that are actually trying to train their children right and do things right. But it's crazy, because how in the world does the school have the authority to change your child's gender without you even knowing? My sister had a situation like that where they were counseling her and doing things for her, that my parents didn't know anything about, and they were very upset about that. So, like I say, you can't be it just doesn't make any sense that the school will take up on themselves to do things to your children and you know nothing about it. So that's why I'm trying to figure out, why is it important that these kids know these things so far, like so early on. It's there's no need for it right now.
And so when we found that, it was kind of like, all right, that's we got to pull her immediately. After which, then we had a meeting with the school principal, thinking, I wonder if he even knows. Does it, how broadly is this going on in the school? And so as we spoke with him, it came to our attention just quickly that he said to us, look, you have to understand, this is the school policy. We're mandated to do this. The desires of the children
want to emphasize, child has a request to be named by another name, the opposite sex. Can you take us through how pervasive is this issue and why should parents be concerned?
These policies have become very pervasive throughout a number of states just across the country. These policies where the school district says that if a student raises confusion about their gender identity, the school should jump into action and change that child's names, their pronouns.
Hey, I just want to give y'all a heads up that if this video may have jumped off at the moment, just go ahead and fast forward to about 6 minutes, a little over 6 minutes, about 6 minutes and 5 seconds, and it'll be restarting. Sorry about that.
Pronouns and not tell their parents. And then you have situations where they're actively hiding that information from parents, like they were with the Meads. They were actually erasing the male name and male pronouns on documents and replacing it with their daughter's real name and her female pronouns.
That's
Anything that they
crazy.
were sending home to the parents to actively deceive them. This violates the Constitution because parents have the right to direct the upbringing and education of their kids. But the reason for that is that kids need their parents to walk alongside them when they're dealing with these kinds of issues. Parents know their kids best. They want what's best for them, and they need to be involved. A school should never hide information from
Right.
parents.
So, with that being said, if the child has authority over the parents when it comes to, I guess, themselves or what they desire to be called, what is the point of having parents anymore? Without parents were to parent and to help the child grow up and to teach them the ways of life, what they are and who they are and what they should do, what they shouldn't do. What is the point of parents? Why does the school have all these rules to outweigh what the parents are teaching their children? That's like being in a Christian home. And then you go to school and they tell you, oh, don't say nothing about Jesus. But then they talk about these rappers that influence people demonically and everything. But man, who knows? It's really like it's not alike, but it is an upside down generation now, a very toward forward, generation now, to where everybody's just focusing on them. They want what they want and they want all this freedom, but then they're taking away the freedom of others by just parenting their children's. So you can't just say, hey, don't do this and don't do that, or you know, you can be a robot if you want to, be a cat if you want to. But at home, I'm telling my daughter, you're a girl. You're going to grow up to be a woman. You're going to marry a man. That they're going over that. And that's why the children are so confused nowadays, because they go to school and they get taught something else. Then when they go home, the parents are teaching them something. And if you kind of think about it, it seems like, you know, children should be in school more, but nowadays they're not, because they get out for any every little break that comes up. But at one point it seemed like kids were in school and doing different activities more than they were at home. But like I say, now social media, school and stuff influences these kids to have all this freedom to where they just outweigh their parents and don't want to be what what they're supposed to be. Because if you're a man, you're a man. If you're a woman, you're a woman. If you're a boy, you're a boy. If you're a girl, you're a girl.
Yeah, and that brings me back to you, Jennifer, on, and feel free to share as much as you're comfortable. I don't want to push people to share too much, but how did this affect your relationship with your daughter as this was going on, even once you discovered it? What are some of the parameters maybe and barriers that were put up because of it?
That's interesting that you asked that, because I was looking back, just trying to wrap my head around everything and seeing if there's anything that we could have missed. I get upset about it. We have always told our children that no matter what, whether we agree or disagree with them, we love them no matter what, and we will always love them. And if anybody in the world, we are there for them. They can trust us. We are here to speak truth to our children. And I look back and I think that relationship sort of changed for a little while. I could sense some turmoil in her, and I knew there was something going on. Her anxiety was through the roof. She was depressed most days. She was missing a lot of school. She didn't want to go to school, or I would get a call in the afternoon that she needed me to come pick her up. So I knew that there was something going on, and we were working with the school counselor very closely to come up with a plan for her. I was sharing personal information about what was going on within our family dynamic as well. And I thought that we were being transparent.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I will tell you, our daughter, she knows who she is. She is no longer confused. She knows that we love her. She knows that she can always come to us for everything. She is thriving. Her grades are up. She is happy. She's like a different child now. And it's wonderful that we've got her back.
That is wonderful. I know this is hard to talk about because it's so personal. And that brings me to you, Dan, on just the decision to sue over this. A lot of people, they find themselves in these positions and they might say, I don't want to deal with the backlash, because I would assume once you go public, a lot of people support and a lot of people have opinions on the other side of it. What has led you, Dan, to say, no, we want to take action here. We want to right this wrong?
Well, when we left that meeting with the principal, all that I could get through the thought that just kept coming back to me was, what if we just go away quietly and don't do anything, don't say anything? How many other parents have done this before us? And that even doesn't matter. How many are going to come after us? And if I ever had to look at another father or mother who went through this and say, oh yeah, that happened to us too, but we didn't do anything about it, I don't know how I could handle that. And so I just said to Jennifer, I've got to figure out a way to make this right and make it so that they don't keep doing this to other children and other parents, whether it's this specific issue, or what really is our problem is that they lied to us, that they deceived us about what was going on. So it isn't, this issue, a lot of people want to make it about the very particular, oh, your problem is just with the boy names and the boy pronouns, and you're making a big, a mountain out of a molehill. That just happened to be the catalyst that set us off of saying, you don't get to lie about anything.
Right.
This is what you chose to lie to us about, but you don't get to lie to the parents about anything. You don't get to withhold information, change documents, none of that stuff.
Yeah. Not only lying to you, but also when these sorts of incidents unfold, you're essentially teaching a child that it's okay to lie to their parents. I mean, you're essentially stepping in and saying, not only is it okay to lie, we will help you do it, right? And so I think that element of the story often gets lost in the conversation. That and we've heard the teachers out in California in the Marabelli case talk about that as educators not wanting to be put in a position of having to lie. And I think that's
Right.
important to discuss here. Kate, when you look at this case, what do you hope to see happen in the end in this particular instance?
And before she says that, I want y'all to let me know in the comments, what do y'all want to see happens in this case? Like, are you for it or are you not for it? Do you think that the children's preferences should go before the parents, or should the parents' teachings and instruction go before, what the child wants at all? And I'm not saying that, um you know I'm not trying to say, like, the child wants to go to Alabama for college. The parents say, no, you're going to Georgia State or something like that. I ain't saying that. I'm saying, like, the teachings of the parents, like, hey, look across the road before you go, stuff like that. Treat people nice, all this different stuff. The teachings and the instructions of the parents should go before the preference of the child, because the child does not know how to take care of themselves. They don't know how to carry themselves. But especially like this, this child, she has a mom and a dad a mom and a dad in the household. So I think that the parents should have the overall, standing when it comes to a situation like this. So the parents should win, in my opinion. And I want to know what y'all opinion is, because that's what we're given, opinions. But the child is under the mom and the dad. The dad is over the, wife, and wife is over the children. Dad is over the children, wife, household, all that good stuff. So biblically, the parents should win, because the parents are the teachers of the children. That's what I believe, and that's what should happen. But off this world today, you never know what'll happen. They'll say, well, let the child make her own decisions, all this different stuff. They'll make new laws. But like I say, this world is just going straight into the dirt. And it's getting worse and worse. And we didn't hear about stuff like this when we were in school, but now they got it to the point where it seems like the child is lying to the parents, like he said, lying to the parents, telling the parents, well, you know, she's a boy at school, at home she's a girl. She says she wants to be a boy, so that's what we're gonna let her be. So you're confusing the child.
We want parental rights to be respected. Just as Dan was talking about, parents need
Right.
information from the schools about what's going on, and a school should never be lying to parents, changing documents, hiding information, instructing kids to lie to their parents, and driving that kind of a wedge between parents and their kids. On an issue like gender identity, that's a very difficult and challenging issue for kids to work through, and they
Yep.
need their parents. So it highlights the problem in that context, but it goes beyond it. We want to see the court step in and ensure that parents can have transparency from their schools and trust that they're going to get the information they need to uphold their responsibilities to their kids to
Right.
direct their upbringing and education.
And Kate, what comes next in this case in terms of where it currently stands right now?
The case is very early on. We just filed it right before Christmas, so we're waiting for a response from the district, and then we will be off in the trial court for the rest of the case.
Well, I want to thank all of you for coming on and talking about this. Again, I know it's difficult to talk about. It's tough to go public.
But there you have it. They're going to close out on that. But there you have it. Like I said, people are just doing what they want to do. And nobody cares about what the parents are teaching their children anymore. And they're pretty much turning it over to whatever your mind tells you to do, just do that. If you want to be non-binary or whatever, be this pronoun and all this stuff, do that. If you want to be a cat today, be a cat. But it's getting out of hand. But if you like this type of content, if you like to see what's going on in the world today, please go and subscribe to Go Family. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of February. And we'll be putting out this content more and more each and every day, every week, every month, of course. And we want to grow this channel so that we can bring the content to you guys that Jesus Christ is Lord. And no matter what's going on in the world today, we still got to have Jesus no matter what, because it's finna get bad. 2024 has already started off rough. And I'm not like talking about myself, I'm talking about for the world. Like, it started out bad, and it's a lot of exposure going on. A lot of big things are coming. So I just want y'all to subscribe to this channel so we can all stay in contact and ahead of what's going on. But make sure you subscribe, like this video, share this video, and